Hello everyone, this is Abdulaziz Al Faiz. I'm gonna present an important issue, which is copyright. In this video tutorial, I will focus on what is copyright, what can be protected by copyright law, what cannot be protected by copyright law, getting permission, interview with one of the instructional design and technology professor. Copyright law is the law that gives the owners the exclusive right to publication, distribution, derivation, display, and public performance by many ways, either directly, digitally, or by telecommunications. Copyright law can protect the original expression of ideas in a fixed medium. This can be about anything, for example, books, articles, pictures, videos, music, email messages, and other original works. It's required to be original and has a minimum level of creativity. Copyright protection does not extend to ideas, process, system, method of operation, or discoveries, regardless of the form in which they are described, explained, illustrated, or embedded, or any work that can be under the Fair Use Act. In order to know, is the work under the Fair Use Act? We should ask ourselves, what are we gonna use it for? Is it for education use? News reporting? The law specifically states the fair use of copyrighted work by teaching, scholarship, or researches is not an infringement of copyright. Permission to use copyrighted material must be obtained. The only other legal option is not to use the material. When permission is needed, make sure you are getting permission from the person who has the authority to give it. Permission must be obtained from the actual copyright holder. This is not necessarily the author. It is generally the publisher. The permission can be obtained through phone call or email the right person.
Copyright law is an international agreement in which people's personal and corporate rights are guaranteed and protected. Now, that's a broad statement. Each country has very specific rules, regulations, and policies about copyright. What we find out is, no matter what country you're in, the copyright laws of that country prevail. In the United States, for example, we are very clear of what can be taken out of a poem, what can be taken out of a book, a television show, a movie, or any other kind of copyrighted material, meaning the person who owns it. You can't take it, steal it, plagiarize it. Extremely important to understand that copyright is there for the protection of the owner of the material. And so by finding out how you can use their material in the appropriate legal way may simply be sending an email asking for permission, or may be looking on a website and seeing what they need to have to provide you with copyright permission. Copyright is a way of protecting the owner's rights to their material. Distance education provides separate problems about copyright for the user. Mainly, distance education, meaning you're away from the source, and when we have someone who's away from the source, it's much more important to look at and consider what that person is writing or doing with material. So if there's copyrighted material, a person in a distance education setting just cannot wholesale copy and add it to an assignment or copy it and add it to a paper. It must be reworded, restated. The ideas are never copyrighted. Ideas are always free to use widely, but you cannot use the words of others or their video or their material just wholesale. And there are very specific guidelines for how much you can use, how many words of a song, how many words of a book, how many minutes of a video. And once you have that, then you're within copyright law, especially in the United States. And what we find is that distance education becomes even more difficult in a course to monitor because the person who's in the course is further away, and it takes some time to point out to them where they may be violating copyright. Or the other side of that is the person who's in distance education as an instructor may not even know that copyright is being violated. So it's a whole different problem. Makes for interesting reading, discussion, and also searching out by the professors to make sure that students are not misusing copyright. And it varies from country to country, as our international students in other countries may have a slightly different point of view or different law or regulation about the use of copyright. For example, the country of the Philippines. Copyright is treated much differently in the Philippines than it is in the United States. So you have to look at countries, where the students are, and what they're attempting to do. Distance education provides different problems for professors and students in regard to copyright law.